Cody McFadden on the front row for this race at Talladega. 75 laps of action from one of the largest tracks on the circuit, and we're about to hold on for dear life. McFadden with control of the field. Brian tagged to the outside in the double nine. Green flag is out. Let's go racing. Perrin-Huggen leads lap number 1 by 9/10 of a second at the line. Cody McFadden in that 6-4, sitting in the second position, and then zooming down that back straight. Third in line on the inside, Ryan Pasoko, as Huggins goes to the top side to block Brian Tagg. Nick Simpson behind him in the 4-6. McFadden in the 6-4 to the inside with help from Pasoko, and this will be the picture all night long. Cody Johnson leads the secondary pack, and already a group of drivers choosing to sit and wait. This could really separate the field and cause, well, some patience. Different strategy. Looking at Mike Bennett in the 19, Matt Croakey behind him, who switches his paint scheme from the Ego car to the 02 Tabasco machine. Caution is out already on the second lap. Looks like the 13 of Sean Anderson has gone around. He's almost hit by Jake Baker. Paul Weckerly in the double 2 gets into him. And let's go and see what happened here. This is at the start of the lap. And this already started with these drivers here. And it looks like the 13 of Sean Anderson might have gone by the nose of Dakota Long. Have a look. This is out of the 4th corner. Sean Anderson in the 13. Currently being scored in last. Have a look. The 17 of Jake Baker right ahead of Dakota Long in the 8. Just gets... Was that Jake Baker? No, no, not Jake Baker. Jake Baker avoided that. Have another look. What happened to Dakota Long? Or not Dakota Long, I'm sorry. The 13 of Sean Anderson. Who came up into him? The light blue Dynaco car, the 2-8 of Seth Whitworth. Impatient, moving right up to the line. Long almost being caught up into that one. And there's Whitworth in the 13, in the 28, coming up making contact with the 13. Right ahead of Long, and watch Jake Baker, who's just going to sneak by. Oh, he just missed that one. Just missed that one. Let's see what this looks like from Jake Baker's point of view. Slows it down, avoids the crash. Smooth moves by Jake, and that right there is going to earn him his very own Cole Trickle move of the race.
Ice cream!
Good on Jake in the 1-7 Camry. Good start to the race. We'll see how the rest of his race goes on. Brian Tagg will go to the front. Ryan Pasoko behind him. So Tagg in the double 9 will have control of the field when we go back to green. See if we can bother Brian for a quick word. Brian, tag Rick James up top. You got me?
Yo.
You're leading the race early on, buddy. You chose not to pit where most drivers came down on lap number 4 of 75. You get 2 tire changes here. Guys from the Northeast, really more into modifieds, but here you are with the Cup car at Talladega. Winless so far in 7 races, Brian. Is today your day?
I hope so. It's Talladega, man. I guess anything can happen. I just want to be here for the next 70 laps.
You are 9th in points, 3 markers ahead of Mackenzie Brune, and you only find yourself 6 points behind Mike Bennett. With today being more about survival, are you more interested in the points or just making it to the checkered flag?
I want to. Part of me wants to say making it to the flag, but I really would like to get a win to get myself secured into the playoffs. So I really, really want to get a win.
Who's going to be your favorite drafting partner all the way to the end?
I'm going to have to go with Pisacco. Michael Bennett, too. He's always a strong drafting partner, but I always trust me, Pisacco.
We'll see what happens in these next 70 laps, buddy. Good luck from the front.
Thank you, sir.
So it's going to be Brian Tagg who will control the field on the way to green. We're going to take a 60-second break. We're going to let them line up and get ready to go. You're watching ENEA Round 8 from Talladega. Getting ready to go green, Ryan Pisacco on the outside of Brian Tagg. These 2 cars going to have control of the field. The pace truck will peel off. Jesse Buck cheering on Nicky Simpson in that 46 car, sorry. Nicky starting 3rd in this race, 2nd on that inside line. The cars will creep slowly to the line. They're going to wait for that green flag to come out, and we're going to turn them loose again. Lap number 7 from the Talladega Superspeedway. Huge gap right back here as the green flag comes out. Matt Croakey falling behind Jake Baker on the outside. And it's Perrin Huggins ahead of the Canadian now. Gerald Gallant leading that 2nd group. Bump drafting in the corners, a big no-no. That's what caused the last crash here. And you can see Dakota Long bump drafting Gerald Gallant out of the way in turn number 2. Have another look. Again, the bump draft through the corner. Take a look here. Bump drafting all the way through the corner. A cardinal sin in plate racing, and a huge move out of the way, just bump drafting Gerald Gallant on the restart. And you would say that the Canadian could be entitled to a little bit of payback. Dakota Long, have another look at the 8 car. Now behind Matt Croakey. Croakey in the 0-2 behind Perrin Huggins, also bump drafting throughout the corner. Instability down the back straight. Long now behind Huggins. Perrin Huggins also bump drafting through the corner as well. Drivers already showing no patience. 8 laps into this race. Out of control through the corner while Brian Tagg continues to lead. Huggins now behind Jake Baker out of the 4th corner. Baker tries to go low on Huggins. They're going to make contact. Baker putting Huggins all the way down to the line. Baker shooting up the racetrack. Nowhere for Huggins to go. And Jake Baker getting aggressive with it as well. Dakota Long and Perrin Huggins in trouble, but just trying to hold on to it. Cody McFadden, 49.51. He goes purple in the 6.4 iBuyPower machine. Here comes the 4 and the 8 once again, bump drafting their hardest down that back straight. Nicky Simpson in the 46, 3rd in line with Pasoko behind him. Jeff Rudick in the 74, will he step out of line? Huggins to the outside. Pasoko tries to throw a block, way too late. Ryan has to let out of the gas. Perrin Huggins now being urged to the front by Dakota Long, and he will lead lap number 9. 65 laps to go, 4-8 to the front. The 0-8 of Cody B. Johnson now on the back end, not bump drafting out of the corner. He follows the gentleman's agreement at Talladega. And behind him, Ryan Lindemann in the 5.7 Coors Light machine running 4th. A gap back to Brian Tagg sitting in the 5th position with Ryan Pasoko behind him. Just biding their time at this point. Three Chevrolets, actually 6 Chevrolets if I'm looking at. No, wow. Chevrolets all the way down to 10th place. How about that? The top 10, all bow ties. Huggins leading the way. Johnson running in 3rd. Pasoko in that 2 car, not being pushed forward by Nick Simpson. Huggins leading the race. Dakota Long in the 2nd position. 11 laps into this race. There's Jake Baker on the top side trying to get some support from McFadden in the 6.4. Rudick in the 7.4 behind Nick Simpson in the 46 car. Jesse Buck and Andrew Sauer cheering on Nicky Simpson in that 46. Nicky actually joined the booth for Thursday Night Thunder right here on Rick James TV. Great race to watch. Baker goes green. 49.55, trying the side draft all on his own, and it looks like he might have run out of steam. The 99 might go with him. Perrin Huggins continues to lead with a bumper full of Dakota Long. Mercilessly bump drafting down the back straight. We'll see if he continues to bump draft in the corners. And he absolutely will. Dakota Long stays on that back bumper. Heavily bump drafting on the back of car number 4. But he gives him respite out of the 4th corner. Something that the 60 of Gerald Gallant did not get when Long shoved him out of the way off that restart. Let's have another look. There's the bump drafting we were talking about earlier. Watch the 60 car lose control from the front end of car number 8. And there it is. Gets him loose. Almost causes a wreck. But mercilessly, we keep it going. Perrin Huggins continues to lead. The 8 of Dakota Long running in that second position with Cody Johnson still in third. Jake Baker has slotted his way up to fourth as Jeff Rudick tries to explore the area under the yellow line. Can't quite make it. The 5-7 of Ryan Lindemann is going to urge to the inside of Rudick in the 7-4. Lindemann in the Coors Light Chevrolet now moves into the 6th position. Jake Baker has infiltrated the top 13 of all Chevrolets. Baker sits in 4th. Let's go along with the 17. Mike Bennett has lost the draft in car number 19, the Yukon Huskies Camaro, now in a pack of 1, while Brian Tagg leads this secondary pack, all moving single file. Looks like they're working together for now, albeit 4.5 seconds off the pace of Jeff Rudick in the 7th position, part of this lead pack. So this top 7 in one line here, and then 8th through 13th, just 6 cars strong. Ending with Matt Croakey in the 0-2. Matt Bennett in an island by himself. Sean Anderson also with minimal draft help from Paul Weckerly and Mackenzie Roon, but of course one caution changes all of that. Huggins goes green, 49-59, and Dakota Long goes purple, 49-22. The 2 quickest cars on the race so far. Cody Johnson in the 0-8 now comes up behind the 8 car. And the 1-7 of Jake Baker. Trailing those 3 Chevrolets with 3 bow ties behind him. And I think for the first time this race, Perrin Huggins doesn't have strong bump drafting coming to his back end through the corner. 49-26 last time, his personal best. We'll see what he does this time around. 49.80, 6/10 of a second slower, and Rudick goes to the outside. He's not content riding in the back, or possibly he just wants to slide to the back. The 7-4 and the 5-7 now nose to tail. Huggins still leads. And there's Tagg. Now 5.3 seconds away from Jeff Rudick. So this gap here, slower by a lot than this gap here, who has 1 more car. But Rudick and Lindemann now breaking that draft could start to open up a little bit more air, a little bit more draft for Brian Tagg to get to, as Jake Baker looks like he moves to the high side. He's trying to break ranks. Have another look. Jake Baker trying to use that draft, and a big block thrown by the 0-8. Look at Cody Johnson move to the high side, tries to throw a block early on, forces Baker high. Baker now with no draft help has Jeff Rudick to his outside. Looks like Baker's trying to side draft his way back to the front. He's made it work before as Cody McFadden puts 2 tires under the yellow line. Surely that's going to stunt his speed. The 5-7 of Ryan Lindemann now has to back up. Huggins with no bump drafting behind him. And he'll get none through the tri-oval as well. And it looks like now more respite. No more bump drafting coming from car number 8 through the corners. Sanity prevails as the 5-7 of Ryan Lindemann nearly really gets into Jake Baker. Have a look at that. Watch Lindemann try to throw the block and almost put Baker in the wall. Man, that was scary. Have another look. Smooth hands. Have another look. Not sure if it was a lapse in judgment, but the 5-7 almost putting car 1-7 into the wall, and luckily Baker, aware of what's happening around him, Baker tries to open up the space beneath Jeff Rudick. Lindemann still charges ahead with Cody McFadden behind him. Perrin Huggins has led the most laps today. Sauer talking about a great conservative strategy by these cars here, starting with the 99. Nicky Simpson in the 46, sitting in 12th. A part of this pack as Ryan Lindemann has crashed. Wow, that's hilarious. The 5-7 is literally stuck in the fence. That is hilarious. Let's check this out. Oh, man. Don't know if the 5-7 went up or the 1-7 came down, and that it crash looks horrible, but he gets stuck in the fence, and that is the funniest thing I've ever seen. Have another look. Oh man, it's really hard to tell. Hilarity aside, let's go to the blimp and see if we can have another look. Keep your eye on the hash marks, that'll tell you. I think Baker's trying to I think Baker's trying to side draft with the 5-7. It looks like Baker's coming down too far. First of all, let's just get that out of the way. There's a reason that these lines are in the road. Jake Baker is right to the inside, and he's just too far. Jake's way too far. And Lindemann does bounce off the yellow line. There's that. Ryan Lindemann does come up off the yellow line. Make no mistake, but Jake is also down too far. And have one more look. Watch the 5-7 come up off the yellow line. And the 1-7, unfortunately, was also there. Didn't need to be. I don't know. Let's ride on board Lindemann. Thank goodness for the catch fans. How about Jake Baker? So Lindemann, looks like he hasn't used a fast repair. That's going to put Dakota Long to the front of this race with Cody McFadden running in second. Everybody coming down pit road on lap number 21, possibly using one of those 2 tire changes. So the pace truck will collect these drivers. We're going to take a 2-minute break. We'll be back with more racing from Dega. Don't go anywhere. ready to go racing once again. Cody McFadden is going to come down pit road. Dakota Long starting in 17th. He may have gotten a penalty, not sure, but McFadden has control of the field as we go back to green. Great restart by McFadden. Johnson may have spun the tires coming to the line. 24 laps underway. Caution immediately. We've got 2 cars around. One turn, it looks like Seth Whitworth in the 2-8. Sean Anderson in the 13 trying not to get involved. And that happened immediately from the green flag. Let's see again. Look at the massive gap. Just an unbelievable gap. Not sure what Whitworth is attempting at this point. But just a huge gap to Brian Tagg, and it looks like he tried to get the jump from a long, long way back, and it's not going to work. The 19 trying the same thing. I think Whitworth is... The 19 just coming down on Seth Whitworth. Remember last week at Martinsville, the 19 car just with a bonsai move into turn number 3. I think he pinched 2 cars. One was the 4 of Perrin Huggins and someone else. But have a look, and this time, let's go on board here with Seth Whitworth. He's so far back here. Not sure what his plan is. And now on board with the 19 of Mike Bennett. Watch the hands. And again, check this out with Mike Bennett. The 2-8 getting closer to that line. Mike Bennett just turning right into Seth Whitworth and putting an unnecessary dent in both their racing chances. So now car 1-7, Jake Baker, goes to the front. Well, didn't expect that one, did you? Let's see if we can have a quick word with Mr. Baker. JB, Rick James up top. You got me.
Hey, what's up, Rick?
What's up with you, man? You're now at the front of this race.
I have no idea what's going on. I don't know how I ended up here, but I'm happy about it.
Well, you and Gerald Gallant are the only 2 not to pit. So it's going to be an American-Canadian front row here when we go back to green. We've got a third of the race done. A lot of bump drafting going on in the corners. Definitely... We were looking at the 19 of Mike Bennett. He came down hard on Seth Whitworth. That looked a bit unnecessary as well. And then you collided with the 5-7 of Lindemann. What happened there?
Man, I am not sure. I felt like I was holding my line, and it felt like Lindemann drifted up. But you have a much better view than I do.
It is not my job to pass judgment, sir. I'm just here to relay the pictures. I will say this from replay. It does look like the 5-7 does come up off the yellow line, but definitely some movement down from that 1-7 car as well.
Oh, yeah, I believe it.
Watch the replay. Watch the replay.
Will do.
It looks like you went hard left on the 5-7. I'm gonna keep it a buck.
Okay. Yeah. No, I appreciate it.
Hey, look. There's plenty of time for redemption, right? We've got 49 laps to go when you come to the line. A lot of guys in here cheering for Nicky Simpson as well. There's a lot of love in the chat for Nick Simpson, but definitely a lot of fun that's to be had here, man.
Absolutely, looking forward to it.
All right, buddy. Now you got to let me know who's going to be your number 1 drafting partner on the way to the checkered flag. Who do you like drafting with the most?
I was trying to get Weckerly up with me. We've been practicing a lot, but he'd had some bad luck at the beginning there, so I'm kind of up here on my own.
Well, we'll see what happens, man. I mean, you better get on the horn and make friends with the Canadian that's going to be starting to your side or something. Pasoko and Nicky Simpson going to be starting 3rd and 4th as well. It's going to be fun, man. Good luck, and hopefully you keep the shiny side up.
All right, thank you.
So Baker and Weckerly looking to work with each other. Gerald Gallant, the lone Canadian, the only Canadian in tonight's race, looking like he's going to be on his own, but we'll see. Anything is possible. We're going to have 48 laps to go, I think. And the lights just went off on the pace truck. See if we can fire up a quick 30-second ad and keep this race ad-free for a little bit longer. Let's do that. Let's be back in 30. The sun finally poking through the clouds at the Talladega Superspeedway. Andrew Sauer saying, "You're never alone." Nick Simpson always looking to add a +1. You know, Jerry and the Pacemakers made a song called "You'll Never Walk Alone." Maybe Nick Simpson's got that just blasting through his ears at the moment. Lap 27 about to be completed. Jake Baker, Gerald Gallant on the front row. It's an American-Canadian front row with favorites Perrin Huggins, Dakota Long starting outside the top 6. Green flag is out. Let's go racing. Caution is out. They didn't even make it to turn number 1. Caution is out. Ryan Lindemann has gone around. They literally did not make it to turn 1. I throw the word literally around a lot, but I'm not even joking. They didn't make it to turn 1. Let's see what happened. Lindemann in the Coors Light car. By himself. And it looks like he just put the clutch in, blew it up, and, well, let's have a look. Have another look. He shifts from second to first. Watch this. Takes it to the limiter and shifts into first. And that could very well be the end of Lindemann's chances to win this race. So Jake Baker still at the front, but now put Ryan Pasocco in the second position. Let's take a look at the green flag and see how those positions switched up. Nope, this is the wrong green flag. I think. Have another look here. There we go. This is the most recent restart. KG says granny shifting, not double clutching like you should. Then Pasocco will just slot into second place just like that. So Jake Baker in the lead. Ryan Pasocco in that second position as he circulates around the trot. No, he's going to come down pit road. He's not circulating around anything. So Jake Baker to the front. That's going to put Perrin Huggins behind him. Dakota Long will decide to come in with Sean Anderson behind him. Cody Johnson in the 08 car will move into the top 5. So it's Baker at the front, Perrin Huggins in that second position. Jeff Rudick in third. Seth Whitworth, who was turned around by the 19 of Mike Bennett, is in that fourth position. And Cody Johnson rocking that fifth spot when we go back to green. So Pasocco in sixth, Croakey in seventh. Nick Simpson will re-enter the track in eighth, Canadian Gallant in ninth, and Brian Tagg rounds out the top 10 in that double 9. There are the points coming into this race. Notables who are not here. Jacob Prince leading the point standings by 34 markers, not here. Dakota Long, Perrin Huggins, they're here as well. Sean Anderson is here. French driver Ryan Terrien, not in the field tonight. We're missing Justin Shoup as well. Mike Bennett is in. Brian Tagg is in. Mackenzie Roon, they came to play. Luke Reed, Chris Mayo, Kendall Paul, not in tonight's race. All those drivers listed are going to miss out big time on some extremely valuable points. And just like last week, we're going to have a huge shakeup in the points column. You best believe it. Ryan Pasocco in that sixth position in the number 2 car. He's going to be starting on the outside of row number 3. Let's have a word with this man and see what's up. RP, Rick James up top. You got me.
I got you.
One of the Northeasterners in tonight's race. You're rocking that 02 car behind the 08 of Cody Johnson. Jake Baker leads this race. Perrin Huggins is in second, but his draft partner Dakota Long sitting back in the 11th position. What are you going to do to beat that prime pairing?
Well, I got some good teammates in the field too, so just try to find them and work together and see what happens, and just try to stay out of trouble. That's the main goal here. We still got a lot of laps left, so.
Who are you relying on to help carry you to the front, or vice versa? Who are you going to push to the front?
I'll push any one of my teammates. I got Michael Bennett, Brian Tagg, and Nicky Simpson. So one of us gets the win. That's all that matters.
A lot of people pouring out their Diet Dr. Peppers in memory of Bruce Kramer tonight, Pasocco. Nick Simpson, one of those drivers racing with an incredibly heavy heart. Why don't you tell us what Bruce Kramer meant to you as a person?
I wish I could. I never met him. So.
Well, let me tell you, Bruce Kramer, a lovely, lovely child from the outskirts of Mississauga, kind of like a little hamlet outside Toronto. And let me tell you, BK, one of those special guys that he entered a room and he just lit it up. And Kramer. All right, I'm gonna stop making stuff up. I'm sorry. I'm playing off of what's going on in the chat there. I have no idea who Bruce Kramer is, and those guys are just being silly. But they're having fun with it. Can't complain. You, sir, keep the shiny side up on that race car, and we'll see what happens.
Sounds good.
No idea who Bruce Kramer is, but KG and Andrew Sauer being hilarious in the chat there. Anyway, Jake Baker at the front, Perrin Huggins on his outside, Jeff Rudick in that 7-4 starts in the second row. The 2-8 of Seth Whitworth tried this last time and it did not work out for him. The 28 car holding off way behind, trying to get some sort of advantage as they crawl to the line. at an aching 65 miles an hour. Baker has control of the field, 31 laps about to be complete.
Green, 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 green.
Green flag is out. This one's for BK. Perrin Huggins leads the field into turn number 1 with Jeff Rudick behind him in that 74. Cody Johnson in the 08 trying to make his way through this field. How about Dakota Long being pushed along by Sean Anderson in turn number 3? Down the back straight into that third corner. Here comes the 8 about to nudge the crap out of the 4, and he gives him a very heavy and dangerous shot into the corner. They're hooked back up. Watch the restart from Long. Gerald Gallant in the 60. Remember, the last time these two came together, heavy bump drafting, and the 8 of Dakota Long already right up the back end of Gallant, and here he's going to go to the 2-8 of Whitworth. Clever drafting by car number 8 to make his way all the way through that field. Anderson goes green. Huggins being nudged to the front. The 17 of Jake Baker all over the place. To the low line. 13 of Anderson with Rune in the 11 behind him. 41 laps to go this time by. Pasoko to the outside of Jeff Rudick, who's got the 08 underneath him. Mackenzie Rune in the 11, running in 4th, while Jeff Rudick in the 7-4 has a bumper full of Johnson in the 08. Huggins at the front. If you've just tuned in, you've missed a couple of big incidents. Bump drafting has been the name of the game, and quite dangerous bump drafting. Weckerly, green. 50.01, his best lap of the race so far, and look at this mess. Look at the line on the outside, the 1-7 of Jake Baker with great support from Weckerly in the 2-2. Cannot bump draft through the corners, gentlemen. It does not make for a good ending. Rune is trying to do the same. Nick Simpson, with the ghost of Bruce Kramer in his memory tonight. Simpson in the 46, trying to do this one for his man BK, formerly of a Cumberland Farms parking lot. The 2-8 of Seth Whitworth in that Dynaco Camry, trying to draft with Croaky in the 0-2. Lucas Reed in that 3. I mistakenly said he's not in the field tonight. Wrong. Reed in that 3 car. Trying to draft with the 2 of Pasoko. Cars all over the place. There's Rudick. There's Baker. It's happened again. And this time it's the big one. 4 cars involved. Jake Baker in another crash. We were just talking to Ryan Pasoko, who caught a piece of that one. Lucas Reed, did he make it through unharmed? It looks like he did. That Fanatec number 3 made it through. Caution number 5 flies tonight. Have a look. Impatience. Right there. The 11 of Mackenzie Roon also caught a piece of that one. Lucas Reed was indeed involved. And have a look at this one. Oh, and the crash has already started. And even still. All right, good enough for me. This is going into turn 1. Now, the 1-7 is going to come with an amazing run on the outside. There's Rudick in the 7-4. Baker shoots the outside. Rudick just moves up the racetrack. Not sure what happened. See if we can get just another look here, but Jeff Rudick just goes right up the racetrack and doesn't end well. See if we can get an earlier look here. .74 just goes right up the racetrack into the 1-7. The 60 of Gallant got involved. Not sure what the plan was. And another look on board Jeff Rudick. So that's going to put car 2-8, Seth Whitworth, to the front of this race. Rudick moving up the racetrack heavily into car 17, and it costs him quite a bit. So 39 laps about to be completed from the Talladega Superspeedway. Just past the halfway mark, it's going to be, I mean, if the race has been like this so far, the ending's going to be something to watch for sure, so don't miss it. We're going to take another 2-minute break. We'll be back for the second half of this race from iRacing's Talladega. 35 laps to go when we take this green flag. Perrin Huggins will have control of the field. No, Sean Anderson, my bad. It's Sean Anderson who's on the on the inside lane. Oh no, you know what? Maybe Huggins chose the outside. That's my fault entirely. Kind of hard to tell. No worries. Green flag is out with 35 to go. Huggins to the front. Sean Anderson in second. The 02 of Matt Croakey third in line, while the 19 of Mike Bennett, who came down hard on the 2-8 card and spun him out some laps ago, has Paul Weckerly now trying to side draft off of him. Jeff Rudick in the 7-4 offers a big shove to Bennett in the 19. Huggins being pushed along by Sean Anderson. Anderson gives him a big shove into the corner. Kind of difficult to deal with, but Anderson lets off through the remainder of the corner. Rudick now on the outside trying to get a hold of Bennett. Here they come through the tri-oval. The 02 of Croakey with a mirror full of 8 car. On the outside, almost 4 wide through the tri-oval. And it's good to see Sir Brunson in the chat. I'm also glad I reunited with ENEA. Perrin Huggins to the lead, and looks like Croakey just making way for Dakota Long, getting well out of his way, showing no fight whatsoever. Long trying to draft around the 1-3 of Sean Anderson. Down the back straight and into this third corner. 42 laps about to be completed, and the 08 of Cody Johnson up the inside with no draft help. Tries to get on the inside line, but the 2-2 of Weckerly does not allow him to do so. Long looks for clean air on the outside, while Johnson in the 08 tries to side draft. 13 to the high side, and he's going to get a bumper full of Dakota Long through the tri-oval. Think back to the season opener when Dakota Long bump drafted Jake Prince out of the lead, coming through that final lap in turn 4, and Long again continues to shove the 13 through the corner. Anderson able to hold on 43 laps into this race, and it's a 2-car tandem at the front. Anderson in the 13, Long looking to ditch his drafting partner down the back straight and go for first. Not enough slingshot juice, while Huggins gets back to the 08 of Cody Johnson. Huggins careful not to bump draft through the corners. Johnson makes his own run on the outside. Huggins tries to go to the inside. Long throws the block. Huggins gets right in front of car number 13, Sean Anderson. Anderson getting closer to that 4 car. The gap closing on the rear bumper of car 13, while Cody Johnson has Perrin Huggins peeking to the outside. Big bump draft down the corner, coming to 31 laps to go. Huggins letting off, letting the 08 draft on his own without help. 13, 8, 7-4. Jeff Rudick rounds out the top 5, and then it's 2.7 seconds back to Paul Weckerly with Jake Baker behind him. These drivers need to get in a straight line if they want to make it to the front. And so far, this disorganization with Weckerly, Baker, Simpson leading that pack, looking for structure, looking to get into that line, while it's 08, 4, 13, your top 3, 30 laps to go this time by. This is one of our longest green flag runs of the race so far. Johnson leads, Huggins in second, and the 13 of Sean Anderson rounding out the podium. Behind them, drivers getting awfully close, making sure to stay off each other. Simpson in the 4-6 with the gap closing back to the 6-4 of Cody McFadden, who wants to help him draft down the back straight. McFadden has to hold up just a bit, and that's what could be costing these guys, is not bump drafting in the right areas of the racetrack. Perrin Huggins being sure to get right to his draft partner, Cody Johnson, as soon as they get into the straight. But then through the tri-oval, got to make sure not to bump draft when they're turning the car. Mackenzie Roon and Brian Tagg nose to tail. They're outside of the top 12. 7 seconds behind Ryan Pasoko. Mike Bennett in the 19 trying to get up to the 02 of Matt Croakey, while Nicky Simpson has Cody McFadden filling the space behind him. McFadden gets close. And you just look out for those drivers that bump draft through the corners, making sure they're being nice to each other. Well, nice enough to be fast at least. Car 6-4 getting up to the back of that 46. And Jake Baker with Paul Weckerly ahead in that double 2. Single file while the leaders try to get around the 2-8. Seth Whitworth in that Dynaco Camry, who's right in front of the leaders. Whitworth not getting out of the way of the leaders. An incredibly dangerous move for the 2-8. Whitworth could have gone to the high side. Whitworth could have gone to the apron. He chose to sit still and force the leaders to get around him. Dakota Long trying to voice his displeasure with Whitworth, and that opens the door for Jeff Rudick, who then decides to let off the gas. Perrin Huggins continues to push the 08 down the back straight, but then gives him space into the corners. Scary move by Whitworth in the 2-8. Outright dangerous move. Let's just go with that. It is a dangerous move by Seth Whitworth. Not sure what he was thinking, but he's very, very lucky that it did not get any worse than it did. Perrin Huggins with a big shove in car number 4. Continues to shove through the corner. Perrin let off. Perrin Huggins needs to give space, and he gives the 08 another hard shove in the corner. And if this continues, Huggins could be the result of a last lap crash, bump drafting through the corners. And let's see if it continues. The 4 car not letting off the 08. And this time, through 3 and 4, he chooses to give him space. 26 laps to go as they come to the line. Davey telling us not to sleep on Nick Simpson, and Pat says Nick Simpson's putting me to sleep. Hard bump draft. 26 to go. Lap 50 underway. Perrin Huggins continues to bump draft through the corner on Cody Johnson. Johnson, not sure if he's communicating that he wants it in the back all the way through the hard corners. But Huggins will continue to get up close and shove, leaving no space behind them. Let's ride on board with the 08 of Johnson. And you heard Huggins having to let off the throttle. That opens the door. Sean Anderson with the 08 of Dakota Long behind him. More bump drafting goes through the corner. Long does not relent. He can't sit still. He's not holding a straight line as he bump drafts through the corners. The 13 of Anderson holding on to this one. And now Long decides maybe pushing and jostling left and right is not the right move through the corner. Sean Anderson, new leader with 25 laps to go. Tandem drafting plays a part in that last race. Cody Johnson on the top side. Gerald Gallant in the 60. Now sitting in the middle. Dakota Long doesn't know where to go. And now he gets behind the 08. Cody Johnson looking like he's trying to bump draft through the corners, but he gives space. Gallant stays on the inside while the leaders try to jostle around him. And now the 08 of Johnson decides to get up close and personal. Bump drafting through the tri-oval. This is going to end terribly for one driver, and feelings will be hurt through this bump drafting. Ambien Simpson, he used to be called Nitro Simpson, and now Ambien Simpson, as they're saying in the chat, leads this secondary pack. Jeff Rudick 5.8 seconds ahead as Dakota Long now tries to draft with Luke Reed in that 3 car. And Long bump drafting on Reed through the corner. Reed will come up to car 08. Lucas Reed running in the 15th position, 1 lap off the pace. Leaders will go to the high side. The 8 car has no choice but to draft with Reed. 22 laps to go. Lucas Reed not leading this race, but leading the line. Dakota Long will try and slingshot around him. Perrin Huggins will now push the 3 of Reed, and Huggins using the lap down car to get him to the front. "21 laps remain. The 3 of Reed trying to hold on for dear life. Huggins in the 4, not bump drafting through the corner, giving Reed space. Reed not even on the lead lap, 1 lap off the pace. No, I'm sorry, on the tail end of the lead lap. With Huggins behind him and more bump drafting, pushing heavily through the corner. Drivers trying not to run each other too hard into the back and make a mess. Three, 4, 0, 8, your top 3 cars. Huggins, the race leader, with Cody Johnson in second. Jeff Rudick rounding out the podium with Dakota Long and Sean Anderson rounding out the top 5. Rudick looks for clean air on that outside line, and he can find none. Huggins all over the back end of Lucas Reed, and again, dangerously close. No contact yet. 2-0 to go, and then 1-9 at the line. Huggins all over the back end of that 3 car. This is not going to end well for somebody. I'm putting it on now. This is not going to end well for somebody. Let me know what you think in the chat. What's going on with this bump drafting here. And we got 19 to go next time by. Tell me who you think is going to win this race. Put it in whatever chat you're on. Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, anything. Let us know who you think is going to win this race. Perrin Huggins leading this one. Single file. All the way back to Sean Anderson in 5th. Paul Weckerly now leading the line as Jake Baker tries to make way. More disorganization at the back. Nicky Simpson in the 46 car. Came down into the pits. He did not have enough fuel to finish this race. However, everybody in this pack, Huggins, Johnson, Rudick, Long, Anderson, Weckerly, they all last pitted on lap 38. It'll be a stretch to make it all the way to the end. 37 laps. Track Facts predicting drivers will be able to go 35 maximum, but we'll see just who can stretch it. Andrew Sauer saying Simpson's going to dance to the top 5. His hero, Nicky Simpson. who finds himself in 12th on the tail end of the lead lap, trying to catch up to Ryan Pasocco and the 19 of Michael Bennett. If those two can slow down and get Simpson behind him, that'll be a nice little threesome that might be able to get to the front of this race. Perrin Huggins behind the 3 of Reed still. The 08 of Cody Johnson staying glued to that yellow line, and now Long giving himself plenty of space behind Jeff Rudick. He is definitely in fuel conservation strategy. 17 to go this time by. There is the 7th placed Jake Baker. McFadden in that 6-4 with Croaky behind him. Bennett in 10th. Now has Pasocco and Nick Simpson behind him if Bennett can hold a steady line with Simpson pushing Pasocco. These three can actually make waves. Luke Reed sits in 13th with the leaders coming up behind him. On the tail end of the lead lap, 7 seconds behind Nick Simpson. Last time around, Simpson 51.08. Lucas Reed 51.12, running similar times as Reed, who's leading the line. Perrin Huggins, who's leading the race. And if you take a look at Jeff Rudick, Dakota Long, Cody Johnson, they're all in extreme fuel conservation mode, trying to stretch it another 16 laps at Talladega. It could be a fuel mileage race to the end. And for reference, Lucas Reed also last pitted on lap 38 with this lead pack. Davey in the chat saying the teams that pit together stay together. We'll see how that works out. Rudick in the 74 giving himself plenty of space behind the 08 of Johnson. Rudick trying for the slingshot. Long didn't get there in time. Long trying not to bump Rudick in the corner with the 13 of Sean Anderson going to the top side. And there it is, Dakota Long on his way into the pits. Watch the speed, trying to get to the inside and make a pass on the 08. Comes in at 54, 55 miles an hour. Perrin Huggins also coming in, but he will give up the lead. Long gaining an enormous amount of time. He attacks pit lane beautifully. Mike Bennett, who last pitted on lap 55, has Ryan Pasocco and Nick Simpson behind him. It is a race to just get 15 more laps of fuel. There's Huggins. There's Long around him. Long gets around Johnson in the 08. Lucas Reed also comes out of pit road on the tail end of that lead lap. Dakota Long still has the lead. Here's Michael Bennett moving at speed. He will take the lead out of 2. They'll be moving quicker than these leaders here, but they will get out to the racing surface while the cavalry moves around them. There's Long in the 08. There's Bennett in the 19 moving at a much higher speed. Pasocco pushing him along. Cody Johnson will occupy the lower line. Dakota Long behind Luke Reed. Here comes the 19 of Bennett, and Long will maintain the lead with that green flag stop. Unbelievably good timing, but Bennett tries the outside with a head full of steam. Long pushing the 3 of Reed through the tri-oval, but he gives him space now. Bennett on the outside of Long, the 2 of Pasocco pushing along, and the hero of the chat, Nicky Simpson in the 46 on the outside. They will take the lead temporarily, and they will clear Dakota Long and Lucas Reed. Long now shoots to the outside. He stays on the low line. Simpson tries to get around Pasocco. He needs to dive down to the inside, and he does so. New leader in the number 19, Michael Bennett. Lucky 13 laps to go this time by. Bennett, who came down on the 2-8, of Seth Whitworth and turned him around in not his finest hour, 2 weeks in a row. Now leads this race. Ryan Pasoko sits in second. Nicky Simpson, who's been called both Nitro and Ambien Nick Simpson tonight, in that third position. Cody Johnson in the 08 has to rely on Dakota Long to help him in the 8 car. Perrin Huggins did not get the draft, but he's got Sean Anderson, Jeff Rudick behind him. And now Sean Anderson looks like he wants to bump draft through the corner. He gives Perrin a tap. Anderson has to be less aggressive if he wants to make it to the end of this race. Pasoko in the 2, trying to defend the push from Cody Johnson via the way of Dakota Long in the 8, trying to side draft down the front straight. Great head of steam from the 08 car. The 19 of Bennett on the inside has Pasoko behind him. Almost contact. Nick Simpson trying to get into the 8 car. Possibly a lapse of judgment from the 46. Simpson loses speed. And now it's 3 by 3 into the third corner. Dakota Long tries to come down and side draft off the 2 into the corner, and it looks like he just scrubs off more speed into the corner. Drivers must be careful now. Bump drafting through the tri-oval puts Cody Johnson in the front. Dakota Long shoving Johnson to the lead. It'll be 10 laps to go next time by. Oh wait, leading this race, 8 behind him, the 19 of Mike Bennett, with Ryan Pasoko behind him. Is it a waiting game for the next 3 laps? When will the drivers start to make the move? Dakota Long has to draft his way around Cody Johnson. And the 19 of Mike Bennett just watching from third. Mackenzie Roon in the 11 car. A lapped car, he will move to the high side and let the leaders go. Remember, some laps earlier, Seth Whitworth did not extend them the same courtesy. Same goes for Gerald Galat in the 60 car. Long tries to shoot to the outside. Side draft with the 11, or with the 08. And there, the 08 of Cody Johnson comes right back in front of that 8 car. 9 laps remain. Mackenzie Roon in the 11 will latch on to the draft from Lucas Reed in the 3. Brian Tagg in the 99 up ahead the leaders. Tagg in the Busch Apple car briefly led this race. But now he finds himself in the 13th position, about to be put 1 lap down. Sean Anderson went green, his personal best. 49.48 seconds. Perrin Huggins pushing Jeff Rudick along. And now we have more players. 8 to go. Johnson leads. Tagg to the high side. And 3 wide down the front straight with Brian Tagg trying to stay out of the way of the leaders. He will go to the middle and force them to split. This will cause a rift. Look at Long going all the way to the top side, trying to block Anderson in the 13. That opens the door for Bennett in the 19. Here comes the push. Nicky Simpson, third in line on the inside. Pasoko in the 2. The 08 of Cody Johnson being pushed through the corner again. The 8 of Dakota Long right behind him, pushing him out of the corner, trying to do everything he can, while Long continues to move left and right swimming across the racetrack as he bump drafts. Sean Anderson in the 13, looking to go to the inside. Jeff Rudick tries the bump draft. Long wants to go solo, and the 08 of Cody Johnson will slot ahead of the 8 car. 1 forward amongst all the bow ties. Lonely little Sean Anderson getting a big shove from Perrin Huggins in the 4. Anderson goes to the front, but does he leave Huggins? 6 laps remain this time by. Huggins to the inside. He has to let up. Heavy bump drafting there. That's where bump drafting into the corners is going to cause a problem. Drivers will make late race blocks, and they will not let off the throttle. Huggins, again, bump drafting Sean Anderson. The way these cars jostle left and right while they bump draft each other is not good. It's going to end up causing a wreck. I guarantee it. Ryan Pasocco in the 2, giving himself space while these drivers continue to shove themselves down the back straight. Sean Anderson leads the single file parade all the way back to Mike Bennett. Nicky Simpson, the chat's hero, back to 9th. Anderson in the 13 car, leading Perrins in the 4. The 19 of Mike Bennett looking to the inside, but you cannot pass below that yellow line. We'll see just where these cars end up. We'll see who survives. Anderson leads with 5 laps to go. And there's a crash. It's Simpson who's involved. Simpson is in the wall. Caution is out with 5 to go. Nicky Simpson in the wall. The 2 of Ryan Pasocco also involved. And the caution will come out. We will restart this race inside the final 3 laps. Have a look. This is coming out of the 4th corner. Nicky Simpson in the 46. Pasocco just ahead. And again, drivers jostling all over the place, not maintaining a steady line. Pasocco looking to go to the inside. He shoots high. Rudick gets right down in front of Simpson. Nowhere for Nicky Simpson to go. Have another look. There's Jeff Rudick just slamming the 2 in the back end. The 64 also gets involved. Have another look at Jeff Rudick right along with the 7-4 car. And there it is. With Rudick from the top. Have a look. I think Rudick was trying to pass Pasocco on the inside. Have just one more look at it. I'm not sure if Rudick thought the 2 was going high and just decided to go past him. Really close to call there. But Jeff Rudick in that 5th position. Nicky Simpson will re-enter using a fast repair, it looks like. So the 46 will restart in the 12th position. Sean Anderson will lead. Perrin Huggins is in 2nd. Dakota Long came down pit road. It'll be 2 laps to go when we restart this race. Sean Anderson will have control of the field when we come to the line. And Talladega, if you can believe it, will end in a green-white checkered finish. Fans, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a 2-minute break, and we're going to come back for the final 5.25 miles. Do not miss this restart. Back in 2. Sean Anderson will have control of the field in car number 13. Perrin Huggins will restart on his outside. Just over 5 miles will make up the final 2 laps of this race. Cody Johnson sits in third inside of row number 2. Mike Bennett outside of row number 2. Cody Johnson inside of row number 2. Jeff Rudick in the 7-4 inside row 3. Paul Weckerly outside row 3. The people's champion, the hero of the chat, Nicky Simpson, on the inside of row number 5 with Ryan Pasoko to his outside as Sean Anderson comes to the line in anticipation. He waits for the signal to start the final 2 laps of this race. Green flag is out. We're underway. Green, white, checkered. Pushing, shoving, bump drafting through the corner, as has been typical all race long. Pasoko in the 2 with a bumper full of long. Anderson getting shoved along by Cody Johnson in the 0-8. Jeff Rudick gets behind the 4 of Huggins. Now Long up the middle with no draft help. Rudick tries to throw a block. Long and Huggins reunited, and it feels so good. There's the crash behind them. Dakota Long's been involved. Jeff Rudick, Mike Bennett, Paul Weckerly, the 2 of Ryan Pasoko, and you knew it was coming. Bump drafting to the corners does not work. Have a look. By then, Rudick has already been turned around. Caution's already out at this point. There's the 0-2 of Croaky, right behind Rudick. And it was always going to end like that. The 08 car of Cody Johnson. Bump drafting the 1-3, gets to the high side, can't hold his line. Nothing Jeff Rudick can do at that point. Rudick has to let off the gas to avoid running right into the back of him, and it causes this melee here. 08 slows up. Nothing Rudick can do. Rudick will also bounce off the yellow line. Nowhere Croaky can go when Rudick comes back up onto the racetrack. And a heavy slam for Jeff Rudick, right on board. Sean Anderson leads before our next green-white checkered attempt. Anderson has control. Huggins behind him for now. Dakota Long survives that incident. That 8 car definitely took a scrape. Let's have another look and see his involvement in this one. In the middle, just an innocent bystander at this point. Rudick's going to lose it here. Oh, Long does get turned around. He gets heavy hit from Weckerly in the 22. Not sure if Long was able to use a fast repair. He'll be restarting in 5th. Matt Croaky will be restarting on the outside of row 2 in the 4th position. Croaky just couldn't come up off that low line. Rudick bounced off the yellow line. Let's see what happens. So the lights are off atop the pace truck. Sean Anderson will restart with control of the field once again. Cody Johnson on the outside of row... No, Cody Johnson on the inside of row 2. I am not paying attention. But Matt Croaky's on the outside of row 2. Dakota Long will be on the outside, on the inside in row 3. I'm falling apart here. We need to end this race. How about Nicky Simpson starting on the outside of Dakota Long? Cody McFadden in 7th. Jake Baker on the outside. Paul Weckerly a part of this one. Mike Bennett. Luke Reed. Imagine if Luke Reed gets the win. That'll be something. Seth Whitworth running in 14th, 2 laps off the pace. Mackenzie Rune, 1 lap down. So if another caution comes out, this 11 car could actually get his lap back. What a way that would be for him to win. But it'll be Anderson and Huggins on the front row. We'll see how far they make it this time. There's that crash with Ryan Lindemann where I think Lindemann ended up misshifting. And he crashed before he even got to the start-finish line on a restart. Lots of action. A lot of bump drafting tonight as well. These drivers showing zero patience with their bump drafting. And we'll see just how it happens. Jake Baker hanging way back from Nick Simpson. I mean, way back. Not sure what his game is here. Big shout out to everybody who's tuned in for tonight's race. We can't do these broadcasts without you. It is not possible without the support of the people in the chat, the people that help us put this together. Thank you to everybody at ENEA. Most importantly, thank you to you fans who tune in and make this a privilege to do week in and week out, both for ENEA and Thursday Night Thunder. Let's enjoy these last 2 laps. Green flag is out. Anderson leads with a bumper full of Johnson. Huggins slots to the inside with his number 1 draft partner behind him, the 8 of Dakota Long. Anderson with a heavy-handed bump from Johnson. Huggins will now try the top side with Long pushing behind him. You can see the damage on the 8 car, but he's still in it to win it. Anderson on the inside in car 13. Huggins with a bumper full of Long through the corner. Huggins unstable. He goes high. Huggins might clear the 13. Big push here. Long jostling left and right. Can't stay steady, but he bump drafts Huggins to the top. 1 lap to go. Remember, at the season opener in Daytona, Dakota Long bump drafted Jacob Prince out of the win in turn 4. Will he extend the same courtesy? Cody McFadden bump drafting on Dakota Long through the corner. Drivers getting unstable. Long on the back end of Huggins down the back straight. Huggins unstable. Johnson with a run towards the front. Huggins in front. Long in second. McFadden in third. One more shot from Croakey into the corner. There's McFadden drafting up on Long. Long all over the back end of Perrin Huggins. Will it be one more shot from Cody McFadden? Through the tri-oval, McFadden makes his run. Long all over the back end of Huggins. Tries to get him in the tri-oval, but it will be Perrin Huggins who holds on. He wins round number 8 at Talladega. Slick moves out of the 4th corner. Huggins survives that last lap. He wins race number 8 of the season at Talladega. Dakota Long in second. Cody McFadden finishes in third. Perrin Huggins coming into this race after a couple of DNS did find himself in third. 10 points behind Dakota Long, who pushes him to the win. Huggins trying to put his car in burnout mode. He will do some donuts as he's earned them. And those two will celebrate. We're going to go ahead and get our podium ready to go. Top 3. See you folks in a bit. On the podium now with two of our top three, starting with tonight's bronze medalist, Cody McFadden in that 6'4". You had a great race through all of these laps in that iBuy Power Machine. Despite the mayhem, you still made it to the front and you ended up getting a bronze medal. What more did you need to do on that last lap?
Well, I know those two work really well together, so I was trying to back up there down the backstretch in the 3 and 4, but when they started to push, I knew it was going to be almost impossible, so I just started to go and just played for third at that point.
Still a good, a good run, a good bronze medal, and coming into this race, did you think third was going to be a possibility?
Yeah, I was hoping to, try to get a little higher tonight, but just wasn't in the cards for us, so I was able to stay away from all the mayhem and bring home third.
Next Monday, we're taking the circus all the way to Dover. What do you think can happen there for you?
I hope a lot. I like it there a lot. It's a fun track to be on, fast and tight too, so should be fun.
We'll see you in a week's time. Congratulations on third.
Thank you.
Our race winner, Perrin Huggins, holding on for that brilliant last lap. Perrin, you've got another win this season. You're going to head into Dover next week, just 5 points off the lead. You've got 2 wins already. Can you make it 3 at Dover?
I think I can, Rick. I feel like that's one of my best ones, but yeah, it for sure felt good to win tonight. I usually get wrecked at the plate races, so I'm happy, man. It was a fun race for sure.
It was a thrill watching it for sure. Talladega's always a nail biter. That was awesome all the way down to the very end. And then next week at Dover, we're going to see what happens there too. That track is nothing short of dramatic as well. But congratulations, Perrin. Go on, celebrate.
Yeah, yes, sir. Thanks, man. And I want to shout out my dude Jeff Rudick, aka Rudicky. He raced a real good race and then led his first lap all year, so good for him. And thank you to Coda for the winning push. He shoved the heck out of me, so that was awesome. Thank you.
Congratulations again to PTH, the GOAT, on that win. Second victory of the season, and he's going to take his talents to the shores of Dover, Delaware, where we're going to see round number 9, and we hope we're going to see you too. Thursday Night Thunder is off this week, but they will be right here next Thursday. We're going to take the ARCA cars to this hallowed Talladega Superspeedway, and in 7 nights we take the ENEA circus to the Dover Motor Speedway. And until that next race, everybody, please stay safe. Do take care of each other, and we will see you all